I infiltrated my wife's computer and discovered. Hello again, and welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we begin, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss another cheating story when it gets live. In 2014, I met my wife through an online game, and we hit it off right away. We were the same age, had similar interests in cinema and music, and had similar perspectives on politics/religion/etc. I finally felt like I'd met the one. After some online courting, she relocated to where I lived and we began to establish a life together. She enrolled in nursing school, and the relationship was everything I could have wished for. She seemed increasingly annoyed by my presence as the months passed. She closed the bedroom door and played a game with some online acquaintances she'd made before we met. We had less sex. I attributed it to her hectic schedule of school, clinicals, and other extracurricular activities. We argued over the most insignificant, meaningless issues. She eventually graduated, got a job, and started working night shifts. Things worsened as she slept all day and played video games all night. I was aware that something was wrong, but I tried to be sympathetic because I understood how hard she worked and what nurses go through. I saw her computer was unlocked and Discord was open one day after she left. I was embarrassed, but I caved and went through her chat logs with her buddies. One in particular was huge, with messages returning practically daily till just a few months after she came in my hometown. Constant calls and, of course, plenty of sexual stuff. Pictures were exchanged, and so on. I approached her and demanded to know why she had deceived me so completely after I had supported her and her son for 3 years while she pursued her nursing degree. Of course, I was blamed right away because I wasn't paying attention and she was lonely. I foolishly accepted that I had not been a great spouse. I do, after all, play video games far too much, and forgiven her. We hugged it out, and everything became better for a while. In the midst of all of this, I had taken a new job in a metro region with a significant paid boost, and we were overjoyed to have recently acquired a home. Again, I stupidly assumed that this would be a new beginning for us, that we would be able to repair the damage and have a better relationship, the ideal couple. For a while, everything was well in the new city. She didn't have a job yet, so she kept herself busy with exercising to lose her college weight. I then worked on the house, decorating and performing yard work to give us the home we deserved. She obtained a job nearby with greater hours and pay than she had before. Everything appeared to be fine. She had to work out of town at another place for 3 days 3 months ago. It seemed strange to me, but she explained that it was overtime and that we could always use more money, so why not she gathered her belongings and left. She returned, scarcely talked to me, unloaded her bags, which were weirdly stocked with 2 wine bottles, and went to bed. In the days that followed, any questions about the purpose of the trip were met with evasive responses. I was uneasy about the whole situation, but I didn't have any proof or ground to stand on, so I went on. She went to see an old acquaintance she graduated with in my hometown last week. Again, this seemed strange and impromptu, but it was fine. I also pay visits to old acquaintances. She returned and, once again, evaded any questions regarding the nature of the trip with evasive answers. I checked our joint bank account and discovered that no gas was ever purchased. Given the duration of the journey, that was out of the question, so I assumed she paid cash or used another card so I couldn't see the location of the purchase. I also reviewed our phone logs and discovered that she hasn't spoken or texted with her pal in months. Hence she went for a job this morning. I searched through her bag. I'm embarrassed to have intruded on her privacy again, but considering what I discovered, I think I'm glad I did. I discovered a note written and signed by the individual with whom she had previously communicated. I'll always love you, Zoxo, and so on. They must have met in person at least once. I'm sure there are several. I challenged her again, and she said she wasn't happy, which is why she did it. After lying to me and going to the bother of packing her nursing uniform to make it look like she was on a work trip, she met another man and fucked him in a hotel. Apparently, I'm a bad spouse, and she dislikes my lack of relationship with her kid, claiming that we don't do anything together and so on. I'm not perfect, and I have flaws like everyone else, but I didn't deserve this. I have loved and supplied for her, assisted her in going to school, and cared for her son, and my gratitude is to be cheated on repeatedly. Unfinished. I've struggled with it all day, but as I sit here typing this, I can say that I no longer have anything to give to this relationship. I care about her, but I don't think she's capable of happiness. I am not an exception to features of her behavior and personality that indicate to narcissism and a general lack of empathy for the feelings of others. She does not love me and has never loved me. I feel more alone than I have ever felt in my 36 years of existence, more alone than when my mother called to tell me my father had died. I don't know anyone in this place, and I work remotely, so I don't even have the routine of an office setting to distract me. My family is deeply devout, and our anticipated divorce will be an embarrassment that will further isolate me from them. But all of this will pass. I will never forget my father or his remarks to me. As a human, I have worth, I love, and I am loved. A random meeting in a video game will not define the rest of my life. I gave my entire self to this connection, yet it was not returned in full. That's okay. Thank you for your time. Here are some of the greatest responses from the community. I'm sorry this has to happen to you. It appears that you gave it your best and received something less than nothing in return. Based on the ridiculous number of cheating victims here, I'm going to guess that 3 out of every 4 people on the street have one or more of the cluster B personality disorders. I swear to God, the anguish here is sometimes a little too rich for my blood. For someone who complains about you never spending time together, she's prepared to go to great lengths to spend time with others. Yes, you may have been a bad partner, but that should be addressed by talking with you, not playing about with other people. And if you think that was a factor, you can bet such nonsense was going on before she moved in with you. She has no remorse for what she has done, and if you give her another chance, I am certain she would do it again. Because the only thing that matters to her is that she gets what she wants. You can never trust her to be honest or faithful. I went through something similar around 8 years ago. You're not a bad spouse, a bad father figure, or a bad person. And it will take a long time to realize that. It took me a long time, approximately 20 years together, to recognize that what I had was not a complete and true relationship. Don't be too hard on yourself because at the end of the day, you're you. It's going to be difficult for a while, and you'll have to rediscover who you are. It's difficult, but you have to remember that it's a good thing. You have a second chance to be yourself. Not attempting to fit into an unfair relationship. Unfair since if your spouse isn't content, the partnership isn't complete. Yes, it stinks. Betrayal is a pain. Being alone hurt, and having to start anew stinks. The most important piece of advice I can give is to go when your friends invite you out. Being the third wheel is also a pain. Don't even get me started on internet dating. When you want to be alone, go ahead and be alone. Read self-help books. Don't always seek advice from those who are going through the same issue because so many people haven't taken the time to heal. You'll be surprised at how powerful and happy you are when you find yourself again. And remember, when you're in a new relationship, you shouldn't have to work at it. Both sides should effortlessly flow together. It'll just about fit. That doesn't imply you don't try. Trying isn't the same as working at everything. It's a little long, but this is my first official post. I had a lot of people question me about it, and some listen while others don't. You're free to feel whatever you want, but how you deal with those feelings is entirely up to you. Be courageous, open, and honest, and loyal to yourself. I'm not sure how to conduct a private message, but leave me a note if you want to communicate or ask anything. I've gotten up. I've had a bad day. Life is throwing curveballs at me, but I can look in the mirror every day. Good luck and happiness to you. She's chilly because if she was ever emotionally attached to the marriage, she's long since disengaged. You must prioritize yourself because she is now your adversary. Act swiftly to preserve your assets and retain the services of an attorney. Make sure she doesn't suffocate you. She has been taking advantage of you for what you can offer, so don't expect her to play nice now that she has been revealed. The only way she'll alter her mind is if she finds she doesn't have the financial means to leave you. I've been there before. I had a client that was similar to you. His wife could never be happy with his degree of involvement in the marriage. She expected him to earn all of the money, prepare all of the meals, and clean the house. She went out and banged other guys when it wasn't done to her liking. We had a private investigator assigned to her. She was utterly taken by surprise. After work one afternoon, she returns to an empty house and a message informing her that we have everything on film and audio. We identify the AP and notify his soon-to-be ex-wife that we have notified everyone, including the AP wife. She slept on the floor that night because she had no idea what was going to happen to her. His employer relocated BH to a different state entirely. He seized all of their belongings and stored them. He notified the house's owner that they would not be renewing the lease, picked up and drove away. OMW paid a raucous visit. It's a good thing the lease wasn't renewed because OMW seemed to have a lot of supporters. WW felt as if the world had collided with her. There is no husband, OM is long gone, and a murderous deceived wife follows her every move, coupled with the loss of her home and full uncertainty about her future. After everything was said and done, she received the filing from her husband. It was nearly depressing. He began again somewhere, and she was rewarded by having to clean up her own mess. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and put on the notification bell if you want to hear about any future cheating stories.